Great day, everyone. I'm your host, Paul Lawrence Vann, and I host, of course, Wealth Academy Podcast. And remember our mantra, wealth is more than just money. And today, our
Mhm.
amazing guest expert is Nikki Brooks. Nikki, how are you doing today, my friend?
I am amazing. How are you, Paul?
Doing great and amazing as well. And one of the things that you all are going to learn today is how to become debt free. We're going to do it Nikki Brooks way. And also through this process, you're going to learn to become financially savvy. So I'm going to get started on her bio and we're going to take off because this is going to be an amazing session. So Nikki Brooks is a money sense strategist that shares expertise on how people can become financially savvy, and she is the savvy financial pro, and is ready to serve you. And you will find that out through this episode.
Mhm.
And she assists clients in becoming debt free, save that money during this Christmas holiday season, and live your best financial life possible. And she was formerly a project manager at Disney, and her diverse expertise serves her well today as an entrepreneur. And Nikki also is retired U.S. Navy veteran, and we salute her for her service to our country. And without further ado, I want to introduce again Nikki Brooks. Nikki, welcome, and let's get started. If you're ready, I'm ready.
Ready, Freddy?
All righty then. Nikki, welcome to Wealth Academy Podcast, and we are honored to have you here with us. The listeners, they're going to discover about your journey as an entrepreneur. So we want to talk a little bit about the genesis for your journey as it pertains to the financial services arena.
Thank you so much, Paul. That is a great question. You know how we're all told to go to school, get a job, and save your money, right?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
I tried that, and it didn't exactly work out the way I thought it would. After a successful career in the military as a logistics specialist, it was a
Mhm.
challenge for me to find employment. And I kept getting told I didn't have enough experience. So thanks to the GI Bill, I
Sure.
went back to school and enrolled in a dual degree MBA program where I obtained my Master's of Business Administration degree and I had a Master's of Art in Procurement and Acquisitions Management. So that was
Uh-huh.
good because that's what I did in the military, right?
Oh, great.
So then I was overqualified.
Uh-oh. I've heard that song before.
So then I had the opportunity to work as a project assistant at Disney, and I loved it. I loved the experience, but it was a contract position. So 2 weeks before my contract was over, as awesome as I thought I was, your girl had to go.
Uh-huh.
So shortly after that, I had the opportunity to spend some time with my cousin's children. It
Sure.
was male and a female. They had just graduated from high school. Well, the young man just graduated from high school, and the young woman, she was just going into high school.
Sure.
That summer was spent applying for scholarships because he wanted to go to school basketball scholarship,
Uh-huh.
attending traveling basketball camps and being mom all over again. So during that
Exactly.
time, you know what I discovered?
What was that?
There was definitely a lack of financial literacy being taught in the school system.
For sure. Absolutely.
So I made the decision to change that by getting financial literacy taught in the school system, which I'm still working on,
Uh-huh.
becoming a financial coach slash educator, and being a resource for people, especially since those that are not considered financially savvy and they
Exactly.
don't have the thousands of dollars that are sometimes a requirement to get access to that financial professional.
Sure.
And my mom agreed with what I was doing. So, you know, when mama says you're doing something right, you're doing something
That's an
right.
added bonus. For sure. But you're right about that point about that financial literacy, and a lot of people don't have it, and even all the way up to professional athletes as well.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, so that is really outstanding, and I know the financial literacy is making a difference for people. And I did something similar here in Maryland. I worked
Hmm.
with a local state senator, and we were able to get Senate Bill 500 passed to get financial literacy in the school as an elective for the schools up here.
Okay.
So it's making a difference to this day. And I mentioned earlier that you had served and is a veteran of the U.S. Navy. Now,
Yes.
how did this also make an impact on you in terms of getting into that financial arena and that financial industry? What role did that play for you?
Well, being a logistics specialist, I was in charge of contracting and budgeting, so I knew a little bit about budgeting and contracting. So
Uh-huh.
I figured that would just roll over into the financial part because I already knew what not to do. And as a
Exactly.
coach, you learn the correct ways to do it. And like I said, there's so many people that don't have the knowledge. They don't have access to it. They don't know what to do because I get questions about that all the time.
True.
Snowball avalanche, which should I use? People don't like the word budget, so I call it a spending plan. So
Exactly.
just being in the military and having that guidance and that leadership, to me, it was a no brainer.
Yeah, yeah, that's very similar to what I did as well, in
Mhm.
the acquisition field and the budgeting field, cost estimating, everything, and that's a very defined career field as well. So you can definitely apply it to today in
Exactly.
corporations, schools, almost any industry in and of itself. So congratulations again. Thank you for your service to our country,
Thank
and
you.
it continues to make a difference today.
Yes.
So, with the economy, it's really kind of in a flux right now, Nikki. And one of the reasons why I say that is because we know this Friday there's this debt ceiling limit that is trying to be reached by the U.S. Congress so that we won't go into debt and we won't have to close the government, not even partially. And we also have the Build Back Better program that's coming up. We have the National Defense Authorization Act and so many other things. What do you tell people about how to look out for their finances at this time? Because if, in fact, the debt ceiling limit is not met, it's going to throw people into an even more turmoil in the midst of a pandemic.
I think basically people just need to have the knowledge.
Hmm.
Like I said before, a lot of people, they don't know what to do. They don't know where to get the knowledge because I run into a lot of people that want to invest in the stock market. Okay, the stock market is good, but your money needs to be diversified. What does
Yes,
that mean? You don't need to have all your eggs in one basket. So just trying to explain that to people and knowing what options you have. Um,
yes.
as far as where to save your money, because a
Uh,
lot of people have their money in checking accounts and savings accounts, and what's the interest rate that you're getting on that. They just need to be aware of that. So just being aware of the choices and
yeah.
know that there are options out there for you and just getting the right information. And if you need help, ask for help. There are people that are willing to help you.
Yes, absolutely. And one of the things that a lot of people don't do is have that money talk and talk about where they are today and how to assess where they are. Because we know nowadays with the pandemic, none of us saw it coming. And
Mm.
we have this inflation that we're dealing with and so many other things. So it's definitely people need to be more aware and pay more attention because things are not back to normal. It's going to be a while before any semblance of things going back to being normal. So, what do you say then, Nikki, to people who are having challenges now? What are some of the challenges that you're hearing about that people are facing today, whether it's jobs or people not going back to work because we know a lot of people not even going back to starting businesses. What are some of the greatest challenges that you're seeing?
Wow. Now that's a great question. How much time do we have?
We have plenty.
Where do I start? I'm going
Yeah,
to go back to a lack of knowledge. I know
yeah,
growing up in my family, we didn't sit around the kitchen table and talk about insurance. We didn't talk about wills, trusts, how to create generational wealth,
yeah.
leaving a legacy for your family. We never talked about that. Families are living paycheck to paycheck,
That's true.
slammed with tons of debt,
I'm with that. Absolutely.
stressed out financially.
Yes.
And as with the pandemic, we saw that businesses are barely making ends meet, that they're not having any profits, and then some of them are having to shut down. And
Yes.
they have a lot of debt that's just accumulated. Um,
Absolutely.
the
Yeah. They
personal financial situation, it's dire. People are often overworked and underpaid.
absolutely. And you have the people who have the student loan debt.
Oh yes.
People are backed up with the mortgage. People rent. The moratoriums have been taken away.
Hmm.
Unemployment insurance is being pulled away. So there are a lot of challenges that people are facing, and they just don't know where it's going to go. I think this week and the end of this month with Congress and the White House is going to be really the deciding factor how 2022 starts out. And so we want people to definitely be aware of what's coming down the pike, and don't get too comfortable.
Get out of that comfort zone, right?
Get out of that comfort zone. Absolutely. Now, what do you recommend for people who are listening and becoming financially savvy? How do you get them to make that transformation into becoming financially savvy after they are living paycheck to paycheck and they're on that hamster wheel, if you will? What would it look like for them once they cross that threshold into financial freedom?
I think people, I would recommend that they think like the wealthy.
Yes.
An investment in knowledge that pays the best interest. I was doing some research, and there's a study that says you just the financial literacy part. We always keep going back to the knowledge, but the financial literacy, yeah, about 30% of people are financially literate. Like I said, if you need help, ask.
Yes.
And the financial freedom, it looks different for everyone.
It does.
So when people sit down with me, we help them come up with their financial independence number. And I stress that retirement it's not an age, it's a number.
Correct. That's correct. Very correct.
Yes. And we created GPS. I call it a way to grow, protect, and save your money. That's the plan.
Exactly.
So to me, financial freedom, it looks like having the ability to choose your lifestyle without constant money-related stress.
Yes.
It's about picturing the life you want to lead and then taking financial steps to build your own path, like living your life on your own terms.
Yes, absolutely. And unfortunately, as you stated, a lot of people don't have that financial literacy. And in many ways, it's no fault of their own, but there are now services, and like your business, that people can get that information and knowledge. And sometimes people find themselves really busy and they think it can't work for them, but it can work for them. And we think about this Osley in Mississippi, and she stopped school at the age of, I believe, 6 or 7 years old, because she lost one of her parents, and she stayed with her aunt and uncle, and her aunt cleaned clothes for people near college. And so she taught her granddaughter how to do this. And the end story is that she saved $150,000. And she kept the money where? In her mattress. Old school, right?
Yes.
And what happened, someone told her, hey, you need to talk to a banker. So she took her money, put it in the bank, and then she decided, hey, I don't really need this money because she's gotten up there in age. She didn't have a mortgage because she lived with an aunt and uncle. She never had a car. She would walk to the grocery store and get her groceries, and she didn't pay for any luxuries. And the next thing you know, I think it's Southern Mississippi, University of Southern Mississippi, she donated $150,000, and the alumni was like, if this one lady can save that much money, they matched it, and so it put up $300,000 for underprivileged youth to attend that college.
Wow.
Yeah, and so it just goes to show, even though she didn't have a formal system in place, she had the heart and the spirit to make a difference. And that scholarship program is still going on to this day.
That is beautiful. We need more of that. We need much more of that.
And in essence, she was financially literate because she saved that money. She didn't have any debts. So it's a great story, one I always think about. Now, we know that, and I know you had a great Thanksgiving. I did too. And we know that people out there shopping, Nikki. They were out there on Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Cyber Monday. And now the holiday season and shopping is really kicking in. What do you say to people right now to help them to finish this year all financially strong?
It is interesting that you would ask that. I just did a video on that one. Stop spending the money, y'all.
Exactly.
Just the average American spends almost $1,000 every Christmas. The credit card debt skyrockets around the holidays, right? Because we're buying gifts for everybody and everybody. I don't do that. We pull names. We started pulling names in our house not too long ago.
That's a good idea.
It worked out. So I'm gonna just give you 2 key tips to help you save.
All right.
Save your money and build your holiday shopping into your budget this year. Number 1, decide how much you need to save. You have to have a number. Put it right here. Have a number.
Exactly.
Figure out how much you need to save for the holidays. I know it's a little bit late, but it's never too late to start saving for that.
Too late.
So that includes the gifts, the travel expenses such as gas, airfare, and hotels. I stayed home, so I saved on all of that.
Too. I'm not coming out till the pandemic's over.
That may be a while, right?
That might be a while.
So, and that was the thing, because we were gonna fry the turkey, but then the turkey that we got, it wasn't it was too big to fit in the fryer, so we didn't fry it. So we just stuck it in the oven. So just making sure you factor in those expenses for all the food that you need to purchase.
Sure.
Number 2, stay motivated to save your money.
Yes, that's very important.
Yes, look at your budget. Yes. Look at that budget and cut.
Yes.
Spend less.
Like people trim the turkey, trim the budget.
Trim your budget. And I know a lot of things now are fun and they're free. So just take advantage of things like that. And like I said, eat at home instead of dining out. I don't go out. I stay at the house. Mine tastes better anyway.
That's the way I look at it. That's the way I look at it. Especially since the pandemic happened. You know, I used to go to all the restaurants, take my kids there and everything. And then I just decided, you know what? Because I can cook very well. I decided, hey, I'll just cook all our meals. Same thing for Thanksgiving. I'll cook everything. But what I did, I recruited my children to do the cooking. They didn't know it was going to happen, but I recruited them. But this is something that people can implement or incorporate into their daily life.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So those are some great tips.
Yeah, and I also have another one. Just make sure you have a chart to track your savings.
Yes.
And like I said, get creative with your gift giving. Save money on gifts. Gift yourself.
Yes.
So home baked goods, because like I said, I don't go out anymore. So I make sure, I've gotten pretty good baking. I was always good, but I got better. And just think about giving experiences instead of things. That makes a difference as well. So those are my 2 tips.
Very, very wonderful as well. And I think if people really listen to what you have to say surrounding this, that having that debt-free experience can become a possibility. And that's what people need to really consider. And because the bottom line in this financial space that we're in, we want people to win. We want them to succeed.
Yes.
And sometimes, you know, what happens to people is that they sabotage themselves. Well, you know, I'll buy this new car. You don't need a new car. You can't get parts for cars anymore, right? And or someone would say, hey, I want to take this nice vacation. There's nothing wrong with a nice vacation, but with the pandemic looming and new variants coming out, it may be time to stay home even more until they can figure out what it really is. And so those are some of the things that happen to be taking place. And we want people, like I said, to win. And we're going to do our best to make it happen.
Yes.
And one of the things I want to talk about as well as this thing I'm looking at, the only way for people to really pull their finances together is to become debt free and have this debt freedom. Please provide your expertise surrounding that. And so people can really get what we're talking about here, because we want them to succeed.
Powerful question, Paul. Being debt-free is important. Just imagine this: deciding on how your money is spent instead of giving interest to banks and loan companies.
Yeah.
Because I know when I first got married, he had shaky credit.
Sure.
I had good credit. So once we brought the credit together, it was good. And then once you have better credit, you get better interest rates.
Exactly. You save more money.
Yes.
Yeah.
So you just get to grow and save your money. Like I said, knowing where to put your money to protect it from market correction and outpacing inflation, which is really important now, because as we can see, everything is increasing. Everything.
Yes, it is.
Gas is, well, I'm not going to complain, but it's $3.30 here in Florida. So
yeah, some of it I've seen up to $5, and some places $7.
And that's insane.
It is. And I was in the oil and gas industry with Mobil Oil Company years ago, and it really shouldn't be that expensive right now, that expensive. And I think what it is that people are so happy to be outside now, visiting, going to grandma's house and everything, and that they're gone. And even with the airlines, the record people that were gone over Thanksgiving for flights, as dangerous as they are, because people are fighting on the planes now.
Ooh, I know, crazy, right?
Yeah. And so that factors into it. When you're traveling now, you almost have to have some insurance because you just never know what might happen.
That part. I think COVID, yeah.
Yeah, COVID, I think to a large extent, has kind of driven people crazy. But
Yeah.
it still has a bottom line impact on person's finances. Yeah, and so we want people to really be careful out there. But when we look at this financial freedom, I think some people, I've heard them say, not all people, but some say that, well, that's just how it is. You're going to be in debt for something. But whenever we have, like you state, we have a credit cards, there's interest rates on there, and the banks are making literally bank off of that, because it's really basically just a loan you have for 25 days. Or if you have a personal loan, well, that's even more expensive, depending on how much you have. And then that percentage, having one of the key things I know, Nikki, is about the credit scores. The importance of credit scores, of course, is that. What do you want to share on about credit scores and all?
Credit scores, they're important, and I think a lot of times people think, oh, well, I can't do anything about it. Yes, you can. Like I said, knowledge is so important. And the lower your credit score, the more interest rate, the more money you're going to have to pay. Because I know looking at that Target card, you're like, okay, there's a 24% interest rate, and people don't pay attention to that. And people pay the minimum. So if you pay the minimum, that's when the rule of 72 plays a huge factor in your finances. You either know it and you either pay it. So
exactly.
I can't stress that enough. Just look at your credit card statements.
Right. And read the fine print.
Look at everything. But because it all plays a part. People, oh yeah. I remember I went to the store and the lady was like, do you want to open up a credit card? And I was like, no, thank you. Well, you get 10%. No, I'm fine. Thank you. But before I'd be like, oh, I get a free credit card. But I know better. So I do that.
And that's what happens to a lot of students. When they get a job and they're at college and they offer them a credit card, they get the credit card and they're thinking, oh, it's free money. It's not free money. Like a student loan isn't free.
Oh my gosh, that's a whole nother topic in itself.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And one of the other things that I looked at is when we look at this Build Back Better program, and from everything that I've been hearing and saw President Biden talking about today as some members of his staff, and they're saying that this will help families because it will have the child care aspect added to it, to have family leave with it, and it's all coming out of the taxes of the wealthy people that make $400,000 or more. And but unfortunately, some members of Congress, they don't want families to have a better situation, and so they're not going to vote for it. So they really can't bring it to the floor and vote on it because the millionaires who have got a nice tax break in 2017 under the Trump administration, they don't want the middle class or the poor people to have a good advantage or to at least a little bit better. And to me, I think that's just wrong. It's really wrong. This is a great time to help people because people are going through a lot now. We have about over 700,000 people that have died as a result of COVID. And it's had a big impact on families. The numbers for children who are now don't have parents or extended family, that number has really gone up, into the millions. And so it affects all of us because it's going to come out of the taxes, to be able to take care of them. So these are some other things that we look at, from that financial standpoint, that it impacts all of us. And then, of course, Nikki, we have the taxes coming up, right? People better get ready for that. Tax season is almost here, so it's a good time for people to start planning for their taxes as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. And that's something that I worked on for a number of years. I worked in an accounting department when I was on active duty. And so,
Yeah.
yeah, they put me in an education with industry program in Atlanta for a company, and I worked in their tax accounting office. And so I could apply that once that assignment was over and going back on back to duty at that time. So
Wow.
so people have to do that. And then I was on Capitol Hill and I worked. So I worked legislation trying to get more people, more ships for the Navy.
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to get more boots and beans, for the Marines, and more aircraft for the Air Force and tanks for the Army. And
Oh
so
my God.
again, that's money. It's coming out of the taxes. And I think now the National Defense Authorization Act is 784 billion. And I'm like, wow, that's a lot of money.
Yes. 10%. Can I get 10% of
Yeah,
that?
and that represents about, I think, 60 to 65% of the total uh, appropriations for all of the executive branch. The Department of Education, Department of Defense, Department of Energy,
Mm-hmm.
Department of Interior, et cetera. And so, these things all factor in. And so that Build Back Better program could, in fact, help because it's based not on 1 year, but it's based on about 10 years or maybe
Yeah.
even 15 to 20. So I think they should really pass that bill. But it factors into that money piece. So, Nikki, at this time, would you like to share any more information in regards to any programs or activities that you have coming up here to close out the 2021 and looking at 2022? You feel free to share
Yes,
that.
I do. But I'm going to touch back on some of the things that you were talking about.
Yeah.
Like when people, just being prepared for uncertainty, you know.
Yes. Crises.
Yes. So the most important part of preparing for the future is just protecting it. So what we do is we help people who know how to make money keep it, which everybody wants to keep their money, right?
Absolutely.
So basically, we work as an advocate for you.
Hmm.
So we help our clients be more confident, make confident financial decisions. Like
Yes.
I say, financially savvy. I like that.
Yes.
So they just watch their money work for them.
Sure.
And like I said, when you go back to preparing for uncertainty, whether you outlive your retirement, pass away unexpectedly, or become disabled, there are things that you need to have in place to protect the life you've built for you and your loved ones. So I like to say, you got problems, we got the solutions.
Yes. Absolutely.
So I touch back on the education part because people need to know they can protect their money and they can save their money in taxes and vehicles and worry less during these hard economic times like we're experiencing now. There are retirement income strategies, business strategies, just
Yes.
having a legacy plan.
Yes.
It's just so much that people need to be aware of. So that's why I do what I do, and I love it. I really do.
Hmm.
Just sitting down and just educating people, because like I said, growing up, we didn't have that. We didn't know to
Oh
do
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
So,
None of us. Yeah.
but
Our,
some
our parents, they kind of worked off of the bootstrapping.
mhm.
They get a job, they save that money, and didn't necessarily have a retirement plan. They might have some Social Security, but in some cases, people didn't even get that. So
And that's another issue.
yeah, yeah, that's another issue with
Something that people need to pay attention to.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So I just want to say, if you don't take anything else away from our precious time spent together today,
uh-huh.
remember this: you don't have to be wealthy to think like the wealthy.
That's true.
All you
Very
need is
true.
knowledge and action.
Absolutely,
So my
I
intent
totally
and
agree.
purpose is the education, just the education part, so people
Hmm.
can make those better financial decisions. So
Yes.
I have a Facebook group, Financially Fit and Savvy, a
Uh-huh.
YouTube channel, and a podcast coming out, Savvy Talks, where we were discussing all things money. So just some big things in the works.
Fantastic.
So yeah, I'm excited. So with the student loans being on in everybody's radar right about now,
Uh-huh.
we're hosting a student loan 101 webinar very soon. So stay tuned for that.
That's a good
And
one right there.
Yeah, it will be,
Yeah,
right? I'm
because a lot
excited.
of people, they're gonna right now they kind of have it where they're holding it. People don't have to pay the student loans. So I think January of next
January
year.
2022. Yeah.
Yeah, and so now is a great time for that. And,
Yes.
and this will be held in this month.
We are getting everything together. Yeah, yeah, it's December, right?
The time is going by that fast.
Yes, it's
January is going by that fast.
I know, right? We just had Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Uh, yeah.
But I love it. Yeah. And
Uh-huh.
I've just teamed up with some very powerful women. So what we do is we do a lunch and learn every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And we
Okay.
do an educational segment Tuesday evenings at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And that focuses on how money works. So I'm giving you an invite. Feel free to join us. We'd love
Okay.
to have you.
Fantastic.
So this month, the topics will revolve around RMDs, those required minimum distributions. That's South Carolina coming. I got to slow down.
Uh-huh.
The end of the year planning, goal setting for 2022, and we're always looking for strategic partnerships.
Okay.
So I have a few spots open for strategy sessions this month. So yeah, I can drop my email in the chat.
Okay.
Just feel free to reach out. We're here to help you in any way that we can. So no
All
family
right.
left behind is our mission. Thank you so much. Stay safe. And remember, money saved is money earned. Thank you, Paul, so much for the invite.
Okay, well, Nikki, I tell you, it was an honor to have you. And I really look forward to this particular episode with you because I know it would be a lot of fun and people will gain so much knowledge and wisdom through this process. And so I also want to thank you and have a wonderful Christmas holiday season. And your mission, as well as your message, was loudly heard today, which it needs to at this time. And we really look forward to having you on again sometimes in the future. And I'll connect with you in terms of some of the projects that you have coming up as well. And I definitely look forward to your podcast as well.
Thank you.
All right. So this is going to close out this episode of Wealth Academy podcast with our guest, Nikki Brooks. And again, she's doing some amazing things. She is financially savvy. She can teach you how to do that. She shared part of that today, and she wants you to become debt free. And that debt freedom is so important for everyone, especially during this shopping period of time. We want to be able to control ourselves and to make those great decisions that we would thank ourselves for come the New Year's, which is not that far away. So I want to give a great shout out to the Wealth Academy podcast community. Thank you all for being with us today. And we will see you on the next episode of Wealth Academy podcast. And again, Nikki, thank you so much. And I look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Thank you, Paul.
All right. And have a great day, everyone. I'll see you on the next episode of Wealth Academy podcast. Have a great day, everyone, and goodbye. Okay, hang in there, Nikki.